Welcome to Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of God of War Ragnarok. I played on the PS5, it's also available on the PS4. So let's get into it with a quick spoiler for the previous God of War game. So here's your warning: if you haven't played it, why haven't you played it? Go play it. But at the end of it, you killed Baldur, and that has kicked off events that should lead to Ragnarok. Specifically, you and Atreus are living through Fimbulwinter, which is, a really harsh winter, at least in Midgard. Thor and Odin show up at your house, and Kratos, being Kratos, is not particularly diplomatic. Things go wrong. Atreus decides he needs to discover the truth about previous prophecies, etc., and that kicks off your whole quest. And I really don't want to say anything else because it's a fantastic story. I was just blown away at every twist and turn. There was exactly one thing in the story that I kind of saw coming. I don't know why, it just clicked in my brain. The idea did, and it came true. But like I said, just an amazing story. It really, from start to finish, was fantastic. It was so well executed. Absolutely amazing. So let's get into the audio, and the voiceover work is just the definition of AAA. This is one of those games where it is, I want to say perfect throughout. Same for the sound effects. The sound effects are awesome, from the enemies to the actions you're taking, just everything. And then you've got the music, which is just wow. One of those soundtracks that is fully worth listening to on repeat. So let's get into the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, and this does very much follow the gameplay mechanics of the previous God of War. It is you and Atreus out. There's a lot of exploration. You have your main missions, and you have a lot of side missions this time around, like a lot of side missions. I didn't really get to delve into as many of them as I would have liked to, but when I get free time, I'm definitely going to go back and play a lot more of them, hunt down the Draugrs, all of that stuff. Not unlike the previous game, though, you can upgrade certain parts of your weapon. You can swap them out and upgrade those, craft new parts, your armor as well, Atreus' stuff. There are other characters that you get to work with, and for once you actually get to play as Atreus on a few levels. But the combat functions very similarly to how it did in the previous God of War. It is more challenging than ye olde God of War games from back when Kratos was in Greece. All of the gameplay mechanics work extremely well. They're all easy to figure out and to navigate. You level up, that's easy to figure out and how to do it. You get XP from killing enemies. You use XP to unlock new abilities. You level up those abilities by using them repeatedly, essentially. Your weapons, Atreus' weapons and abilities, all of them come into play when solving puzzles and exploring. I think they did a great job marrying every element of this game into one cohesive thing. If I do have to have one thing, it's a very tiny complaint. It's picking nits, really. And that is the compass. When I first got it, it didn't work for shit. That thing was just whipping around and not guiding me to the objectives like it was supposed to. But a patch definitely came out and it started working far better. It's not flawless, but it's far better than it was. And it's also far from game ruining. So let's get into the controls, and what do you want me to say, really? They're great. They work perfectly. Then, last but not least, the graphics and visuals, and wow, just all the wow in the world. This is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. I think this is probably the best looking game out there. The just disturbing amount of detail in games nowadays. This is really kind of the pinnacle right now, in my opinion, of a true game, full game, where it's not like a tech demo of like a full-length game. Sure, people can build some amazing looking stuff that's truly photorealistic, like Love, Death, and Robots, but this is about as close as you're going to get right now, at this moment, in a full-length game. From the detail in Kratos' wrinkled face to the individual beard hairs, which, if you want to pause it, I'm sure you could sit there and count every single one. But that goes to every single character. You can see just so much detail in every aspect of this game. They were going for hyper-realistic in this fantasy world, and they nailed every element of it. The designs are very much obviously Norse and Viking inspired, and they work great. They look amazing. The weapon design, the armor design, the enemy design, and like I said, just the world in general, every element of it. You go to different realms once again, and they all have their unique design to them, so you know which one is which. I can't say anything negative about these graphics. I really didn't notice anything where I was just sitting there going, you could have done that better, because I really never saw a moment like that. And then I guess if I had one other minor complaint, I had a few times where Atreus would get stuck and he wasn't doing exactly what I needed him to do for a puzzle, but I literally just kind of walked out of that area, walked back in, and we were good to go, so it didn't ruin anything. It took me a whopping like 30 seconds to unfuck. So I guess let's just get into the wrap-up, and this game is getting a lot of perfect scores, and I have zero complaints with that. I think if you own a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, you should play this game. It is that simple. I don't give a shit what genres you prefer. This is just such an amazing game. It's worth the time. It's worth the money. And when I say time, I should say it's about 20-ish hours to beat. I think I completed it in 25. But again, I barely delved into the side quests, so that can definitely stretch it out. Okay, so in the comments down below, why don't you tell me, what is your favorite God of War weapon? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share and subscribe. Have a good one.